Hi Libra, it's Denise from Divine Soul Astrology, and today I'm here to discuss the horoscopes for your sun, moon, and rising for the month of May. Okay, so the sun is in Taurus, and you're both ruled by Venus, so we'll talk a little bit about that. And today is the second when I'm recording this, and the Scorpio full moon was yesterday, and that is actually in your second house of well-being, yeah, and material gain and finance and also self-worth, excuse me, as it relates to your well-being. So you want to check that out. Yes, and also I also have the horoscopes for Uranus entering Gemini, and that is already up. That was uploaded yesterday. And for you, Libra, there's going to be big change. Uranus is showing up in your ninth house of higher purpose and growth and expansion. Wow. So big changes, and that will be for a 7-year transit. Okay, so that's why it's very important. And let's get going on this though. And the sun is in your eighth house in Taurus. Remember, I said that Venus is the ruler of the sun right now because you and Taurus are both sharing Venus as a ruling planet. So it's a season that is important for you, especially with it representing your eighth house of transformation and rebirth. All right. This is the house of regeneration as well, profound change. And the sun is also in your house of, this is the house of intimate relationships and understanding what's been hidden. It's a deep psychological house of intensity, seeing beneath the veil. We all need to see beneath the veil. Yes. I mean, and that can be also connected to psychic ability and intuition. If you're not into that, that's totally fine. Right? Not everybody is, but it is important to see what was hidden from us, right, in our psyche, what we kind of couldn't see. It may have been there all along. It may have been sitting in front of you or sitting on your lap. That's kind of how it works, right? And that's what astrology can help us kind of see. Astrology helps us grow. It does. Astrology is for a better life. Your own natal chart really supports, if you have somebody read it who is good at it and approaching the chart in the right way, yeah, with rulerships and things like that, can really show you so much to make your life so much better, right? So but we have that there. And Venus, yeah, I talked about that. Venus is ruling that. And Venus is in Gemini, Libra. And Gemini is your actually, yeah, oops, excuse me a second. Gemini is your ninth house of growth and transformation. Yeah, I kind of saying that here, but with, mm-hmm. And so this is your seventh house of, let's see, let's have a look at this. Oh, Venus is in Gemini here for you. And this is in your house of purpose, growth, and expansion. I just want to make sure I've kind of done this right. Yes, it is. And Venus also, yeah, Venus rules your, let's look here for you, Libra. Venus is ruling your first house as well. It sure does. Your first house of I put the seventh house here, but the seventh house is the natural house of Libra, right, in the natural chart. But Venus is ruling your first house. And this is really for you about yourself, right? But this can be about, your partnerships, your business or romantic or whatever type of partnerships, your clients, right? Your one-on-one. Libra is about the one-on-one, isn't it? Yeah, it is. You can represent the couple, and Aries, your opposite sign, represents the person, the one person. So, Aries and Libra are always on this kind of axis of relationships and the self. And this is how you create balance and your opponents and people who don't agree with you. So maybe there's something going on this month, um, right? And also with legal matters, right? Excuse me, but I had lemon and I should not have had lemon. And I realized that once I had lemon, I start to cough and all these kind of things, right? And this is also your house of mediation and arbitration. Yeah. Mercury, which represents our thinking, is conjoined with Chiron, which represents our insecurities and wounds. And this is in your house of partnerships, harmony and balance, and opponents. So there's something that can be healing for you in the month of May. definitely Libra. Right. And it's really important to you to have harmony and balance because that's what you really represent. So maybe you are healing something about another partner. You could be having ideas of how to do that, right? With Mercury is our mind. Mercury is wants us to be smart and understand and to analyze as well, and sometimes make decisions. And Mercury is helping you see things and move on and overcome something, move on from something, right? Chiron is always associated with either lack or a wound or some type of insecurity or vulnerability that we have. It can be physical or psychological, usually psychological. Chiron is in Aries, so I mean, if you have anything related to your seventh house of, of anything that's related to your physical health, the seventh house typically rules the kidneys, but Aries rules the head, so it's in the self, right? So it can be anything like that. Yeah. Hope nothing's going on with the kidneys, right? Of course. Drink cranberry juice in the morning, right? I'm on a health kick, so I know all about this stuff, right? Yeah. But Mars is the ruler of Aries, right? And so that sextile or that conjunction rather with Mercury and Chiron, Mars is in Aries in your seventh house at your opposite sign. There's always something important about our opposite sign. Remember, we have the axis all the time, especially when we have a full moon, it illuminates the axis, right? Where the moon opposes the sun. And so, and the sun is in your opposite sign right now. It is in Taurus until the 20th, but Mars is in Aries, and that is, the sign of the self. And so when is Mars? Mars will enter Taurus on the 18th, but Mars is providing the drive and the desire to overcome something, the courage to overcome something for you, Libra. And excuse me, and that can either be in your seventh. Aries is your seventh house, but Taurus is your, Mercury will move into Taurus. It enters Taurus on the 2nd today. So it could be about your eighth house of transformation and anything that is related to profound change, intimate partners. There could be something that you are, or money matters even, right? Or you're just seeing something at a very deep level, right? That is the eighth house. So we have the sun will be also conjoined with Mercury in Taurus, and this is giving you personal power. It sure is. The sun is life, both in your house of transformation and rebirth, death and rebirth. And also, this can help support your finances. That eighth house is a money house as well, and or your intimate relationships and your well-being. We have a theme here, right, for the month of May. We have a theme for everybody, right? But this is yours, sun, moon, and rising. And Mars will give you that will to act. It sure will, and support you because as you may become aware, uh, right? I was saying Venus and Taurus, Venus is the ruler for you and Taurus, right? And Taurus is representing that eighth house. Let's have a look at that. Yeah, your eighth house of transformation. So, a lot going on there, right? We have Uranus making a trine to Pluto, and so I have a whole video on Uranus. Yes, I do. And Uranus it's a game changer for 7 years for all of us, depending, what sign it's in your natal chart. But it will still have a lot of resonation um, here with the mundane astrology, because I can't see your chart, right? Can't see your natal chart. But that Mars, or Uranus in Gemini, right? And Gemini is your ninth. Let's have a look at Gemini here. Um, yeah. Yeah, it's your ninth house of higher realms and expansion. Very cool, right? And so this is changing, and you're seeing that Uranus in that ninth house for you is bringing you growth. Only growth through change, though. You have to allow that change. I talk about that in the video. It's making a beautiful trine to Pluto, which is death and rebirth, transformation. That is helping you to change and to end something and to start new. And it is from your house of purpose to your house of self-identity, Libra, self-expression, how you kind of express yourself, right? And how you shine, your talents, but not just that, how you kind of show yourself like, hey, I'm in charge here. This is my life. The sun can talk about that, right? It can. The sun wants you to be authentic, and Pluto is in a very authentic sign. It is in Aquarius. Aquarius is about social change, but it's about it is linked to Uranus and our authenticity and allowing innovation and independence for something better, for progress. So we have Uranus also representing that. Uranus is the modern ruler of Aquarius, where Pluto sits. Uranus is making that trine, and that will be there, that trine, for the next 2 years. It will. You're going to feel major change, Libra, your independence and something improving in the things that really matter to you, right? Of course. And so here, with this kind of ninth house evolution and growth and expansion, and the way you think and communicate will change with others. I feel like you're going to be standing more in your power, and you're going to be, always seeking the kind of harmony and balance that you always do, but it will be coming from a more authentic place of power, yeah, and growth. And so the way you think and change, the way you think and you communicate or you relate to others will change. This could be like in romantic relationships or with children or your self-expression, right? Which is so important, right? The sun wants us to be who we are. It does. And so and whatever you want to create for ourselves, this is the fifth house of creative pursuits as well, and children. And so, yeah, and so we have Mars is in Aries, and that's making a square. So let's look at Mars because I haven't, it is in Aries. Oh, Aries is your seventh house. I haven't noted that here on my notes, but it's making a square. Mars is in its home sign, so it's very powerful there. It sure is. And Mars is making that square. Um, it is making a square to Jupiter there here and in Cancer. And what does the square do? It is a challenging configuration in the natal in astrology, really. It's a 90 degree. Anything with a nine has to do a little bit with challenges or endings, right? Or fulfillment. Something's over sometimes, but the challenge, the box is boxing us in, right? It's not a free flow at all. It challenges us to grow, or not so much to grow, but to take action. It creates kind of an inner tension, and says, "Hey, boom, right? Step out of the box, really, right? Because it may feel challenging." So we're going to have Mars making a trine to Jupiter in Cancer, pushing you to act for yourself. It could be regarding career or your social role, your status, but it can be about the authority that you wield over your own life. The 10th house is the authority we rule over, we wield over our own life, right? It's kind of taking charge. It's about bosses and higher ups, and this is taking charge really of your own life. Maybe you want to be a manager or a boss. I mean, it can be as well, right? The 10th house, yeah. But the new moon in Taurus is on uh, May 16th. And I'll have a separate video on that. And that will be important because Venus is the ruler of you and Taurus, right? So, yeah. And that will be a very hopeful time, a transition. And interesting, what house is Taurus for you? It is your eighth house of transformation. Woo, so it's big change for you there, right? That new moon. And also the sun will enter Gemini on May 20th, and Gemini is going to be in your ninth house of growth and expansion. So there's a lot of growth going on here. The sun will enter that sign for you, and that house shining on you, shining on your higher purpose, and your growth and your evolution. Very cool. And actually, why does it say this here on Gemini? Let's have one more look at that. Yeah, this is your ninth house. Yeah, when the sun enters Gemini. Um, hmm And so let's see what else I have for you. And yeah, and this is also, yeah, let's see what else I may have for you. Here we have at the end of the month, we have the sun, excuse me, not the sun. The sun will be in Gemini at the end of the month, but the full moon will be in its opposite sign. That's always what happens when we have a full moon. The sun is in the opposite sign. The full moon will be in Sagittarius, and the sun will be in Gemini. But the full moon in Sagittarius will be in your third house of the mind, your third house of thinking, plans and goals, communication, Yeah, that would be interesting because, and the way you communicate with others, your plans and goals. Yeah, very interesting. The full moon in Sagittarius for you. And I will do a separate video on that. And thank you so much, Libra, for joining me here today. Please like, share, and subscribe, really helping me out to get to the next level. Hit the bell so you can be notified of my next upload. If you'd like to see Uranus entering Gemini, very interesting, and also the full moon in Scorpio, those videos are up. Thanks so much, and I'll see you in the next video.